So you heard this morning from Ray Mavis, the Secretary of the Navy. The Navy's one of the three services. I'm in the Office of the Secretary of Defense, which provides policy oversight of the department. So it's not none of the services, but the Office of the Secretary. And my responsibilities include all of our permanent military bases. I don't oversee our forward operating bases in Iraq, Afghanistan, that sort of thing. But our permanent installations in the U.S. and worldwide, and all of the energy and environmental issues that are related to those installations. Energy is my highest priority, as it is for my counterparts in each of the military services. So I thought I would talk a little bit about that, and I think there won't be much if any overlap with what Secretary Mavis said this morning. And the three key points that I want to make are that our military installations, confront the same challenges as cities. This is a conference about cities, so we are like some small cities. Some of our military bases are, in fact, as big as small cities. And like many cities, we have made energy a priority, and you heard that from Ray Mavis this morning. In our case, we've done it in order to be better warfighters. And then the third point I'm going to make is that DoD has several centuries of tradition as a technology leader, and I think this is where we will make our biggest contribution to the energy revolution. So let me talk about military bases as cities, and this is really just an excuse to show you a little bit of my world and what I have one of the best jobs in the Pentagon. Okay, so like many cities, we have made energy a priority. And we are the single biggest, as I'm sure you heard from Ray Mavis, we're the single biggest energy consumer in the United States. We account for about 90% of the federal government's use of energy. Our bill last year was $15 billion, and 3/4 of that was for operational energy, fuel, basically, and that's pretty much what he talked to you about, the fuel that we use to operate tank ships, planes, and also to run the generators in our forward operating bases. That little red wedge in the bottom circle, facilities energy, $4 billion, that's the part that I worry about. That's the energy that we use, mostly electricity, to power our permanent military installations, and also to operate the 200,000 vehicles on our bases. Our bill is $4 billion a year, which is a lot even by DoD standards, because we have so many buildings. As Tom said, we have actually 300,000 buildings. The rest are structures, everything from bridges to flagpoles. But those 300,000 buildings occupy 2.2 billion square feet of space, and just for comparison's sake, that's 10 times as much as all the space controlled by the U.S. General Services Administration, the landlord to the federal government, 3 times as much as Walmart. And whereas Walmart's structures are all big box stores, we have a very diverse inventory of buildings, barracks and data centers and offices and hospitals. And I'll come back to this later, but our building inventory, our building stock actually mirrors the larger building stock in the country quite closely, which becomes relevant to what I'm going to talk about later. The reason I have made energy my highest priority is twofold. First, the high cost, threefold, high, $4 billion. As I say, even by DoD standards, $4 billion is a lot of money, $4 billion a year. Second, the environmental impact. Facilities account for a disproportionate share of the greenhouse gases that the department contributes. And as we bring troops down in Afghanistan and bring them back here, facilities will account for more of our energy use as a department, and they will become by far biggest source of greenhouse gas emissions for the department. And then the third reason, and I often start with this, is mission assurance. Our permanent installations used to be used primarily for training troops and deploying troops to theater. Increasingly, particularly in a post 9/11 world, we provide direct support for military operations from our domestic bases. So we fly UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicles, from installations in the U.S. We fly long-range bombers sometimes. We analyze battlefield data in real time. Those installations are almost entirely dependent on a commercial grid, commercial electric grid, which experts tell us is vulnerable to disruption. And so in order to, so we care about energy because we want to make our critical operations more secure against disruption, potential disruption to the grid.